All right, let's dive right into this explainer. If you've been following the massive web of rumors, investigations, and court rulings surrounding the NEET UG 2024 exam, you know it was pure chaos for a while. But today, we are cutting through all that noise. We're going to dynamically break down exactly what happened, relying strictly on the facts to understand how this entire situation unfolded. To completely unravel this mystery, here is our agenda for today. 1. The perfect score anomaly. 2. Anatomy of a paper leak. 3. The grace marks dispute. 4. The Supreme Court verdict. And 5. Retests and NTA reforms. Starting us off with Section 1, the perfect score anomaly, and the red flags in the results. Just to wrap our heads around the sheer scale here, a record-breaking 23.81 lakh, that's over 2.38 million students, registered to take the offline pen and paper exam this year. I mean, this is one of the most highly competitive entrance exams in the world, with immense career-defining pressure on the line for these aspiring medical students. But when the results actually dropped, the data showed something incredibly strange. An anomalous 67 students achieved a statistically staggering perfect score of 720 out of 720. To put that into perspective for you, between 2020 and 2023, only a total of 7 students had ever scored 100%. So seeing 67 in a single year, that immediately set off some massive alarm bells nationwide. And when you dig a little deeper into the data, something completely bizarre jumps out. 6 of those perfect scorers took the exam at the exact same center in Haryana. Statistically speaking, that is a glaring red flag, and it's exactly what led students and educators to demand an immediate investigation into the integrity of the test. Which brings us to Section 2, Anatomy of a Paper Leak and the Criminal Investigation. A massive 31-day police probe actually pieced together a precise minute-by-minute timeline of what happened on the morning of May 5th. The National Testing Agency, the NTA, reported the initial leak happened between 8:02 a.m. and 9:23 a.m. By 10:15 a.m., the solved paper was already in the hands of select candidates, and those leaked PDFs were just flying across Telegram. It literally played out like a coordinated movie heist. An accomplice named Baldev Kumar received the leaked papers, printed them out using a Wi-Fi printer at a boys' hostel and a play school. And then the gang tutored specific candidates on the answers. Afterward, they discreetly dropped them off at their exam centers in taxis to avoid detection. It was a highly organized, professional breach. All right, Section 3, the grace marks dispute and the administrative errors. Now, we have to completely separate the criminal leak from this next part, because the NTA actually compounded the outrage by awarding compensatory grace marks to 1,563 candidates across several states. Why? Well, this was done because these specific students experienced a loss of exam time due to incorrect question paper distribution at their centers. But the mathematical fallout here is just wild. Under the strict +4 -1 grading system, scores of 718 and 719 simply cannot exist. There's no way. Yet, candidates ranked 68 and 69 had exactly these scores. This impossible math essentially forced the NTA to publicly explain their whole grace marks policy. But wait, it gets so much messier. The NTA initially gave grace marks for a highly controversial physics question because the old and new NCRT textbooks actually contradicted each other. Because of this one single administrative decision, 44 students saw their marks artificially inflated to a perfect 720. Moving on to Section 4, the Supreme Court verdict and the legal resolution. When this hit the highest court, Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud absolutely did not mince words. He noted that a paper leak is an undisputed fact, and he heavily criticized the NTA. He stated that a body entrusted with such immense responsibility really cannot afford to misstep, pointing out that flip-flops are anathema to fairness. However, even while acknowledging the administrative failures and the confirmed leak, the court still needed actual proof that the entire 23 lakh student exam system was compromised. By utilizing data analytics from IIT Madras, the court concluded there was no mass malpractice. They determined that only 155 isolated beneficiaries from the Patna and Hazaribagh leak could be identified. Because these tainted candidates could be separated from the honest students, a nationwide cancellation and retest was deemed unwarranted. Plus, the court finally brought down the hammer on that physics question controversy. They accepted an expert report from IIT Delhi and ruled that the question only has one correct answer, based on the new textbook. This completely wiped out those grace marks, and as a result, the number of perfect scores plummeted from 67 all the way down to just 17. 50 students, including high-profile cases like Bihar's Tathagat Avatar, lost their All India Rank 1 status literally overnight. And finally, Section 5, Retests and NTA Reforms, looking ahead to 2026. So how do we make sure this never happens again? Well, a government panel suggested sweeping technological reforms to fix the NTA's vulnerabilities. The 7-member Radhakrishnan panel recommended minimizing outsourced staff, implementing AI and biometric authentication, introducing hybrid digi-exam models with encrypted digital question papers, and heavily enhancing mandatory CCTV surveillance, especially targeting booming new coaching hubs like Seeker in Rajasthan. But here's the reality check on how that's actually playing out on the ground. As we approach NEET 2026, reports indicate that a lot of these crucial high-tech reforms have still not been implemented. During recent monitoring by IIT Madras, basic CCTV feeds failed in at least 9 centers and nearly 60 exam rooms in Tamil Nadu. Furthermore, official updates confirmed that NEET 2026 will remain a traditional physical pen and paper OMR exam rather than making the jump to a secure computer-based test. We've seen exactly how criminals exploited the logistics of paper distribution and how administrative errors amplified the chaos. But with the exact same offline pen and paper systems and vulnerable physical infrastructure largely still in place for the immediate future, we have to ask, is the integrity of India's most critical medical exam truly secure? It's definitely something to think about as we keep questioning the systems that shape our future.